This is New York Nightly News with Chuck Scarborough.
Joining us now to talk about the ramifications of Gaddafi's death and what's next for Libya and the U.S. is Dr. Hind Rassam Culhane. She's an expert in Middle East political affairs from Mercy College. Doctor, welcome.
Thank you.
Good to have you here.
Thank you.
Your first reaction when you learned of the death of Gaddafi?
Well, I said to myself, here goes another nail in the coffin of dictatorships in the Arab world. Elation, yes, but also it just takes so long to get rid of people like that. So you feel it's about time. We
are at a transformative moment in the Arab world generally right now, aren't we?
Yes,
but it could tip either way. What are you betting?
Well, I'm not. I rather bet toward better future.
And what's your judgment tell you, though?
I think we're going to have chaos for a while, as we have in Iraq. I think it's expected after such a long time. As an educator, my biggest concern is that we help the Libyan people in any way we can to transform their society to a democratic one.
The president talked about that today, about transforming Libya to a democratic society. But do you really think that's possible in a nation like Libya, if you call it a nation? A collection of 140 tribes with an artificial boundary?
Right. They don't have institutions because Gaddafi was the institution in Libya. So that's going to be difficult to build institutions. But I think it's up to the Libyans. I think we've helped them enough now, and I think we could help them in other ways, but it's up to the Libyan people.
Can we help them in other ways right now to build those institutions, to point them in the direction of democracy, to bring them into the 21st century, instead of letting them drift back to the next dictatorship, perhaps into the hands of the militants, the al-Qaeda types?
Yes, I mean, I think we should help them. I think we should come in with whether economics they don't need, but to release the money from the oil that's happened already. I think they need more of guidance, building institution experts to go in there and help them. We've done it in other parts of the world. I don't see why we can't do it in Libya. I'm optimistic.
You bring up a very good point, because if you take a look at Egypt, Egypt's a mess right now.
Right.
But Libya is a different story from an economic standpoint because it's a nation, what do they have, 6 million residents?
Right, that's all. It's a small country.
And tons of oil.
Yes.
So the wealth is there to build a new society, isn't it?
And yes, they are divided as far as tribes and loyalties, but it is a small country and the wealth is there. So I think it's up to the Libyans. I personally, as an Iraqi American who have worked in the Middle East, I think this is a very hopeful period. I think it's going to be chaotic. I think it's going to be of concern, but I really think it's time. It's time for the Middle East to grapple with their dictators and topple them. I think we've been waiting for this for a long time. The young people in the Middle East that I've worked with as an educator have been waiting for these days, whether to get rid of the dictators and take charge of their own lives, I think.
You were involved in the Iraq re-education or education construction project.
Right.
You were in Iraq.
I was in Iraq for a year after the invasion. Yeah.
And you trained, the project trained thousands of teachers to try to help Iraq establish a democratic society, correct?
Yes.
How effective was that, and is that something that should be undertaken right now in Libya?
I think so. I mean, I'm an educator, so I believe where the money should go is education. Yes, I think we did a good job in Iraq, but in Iraq also what happened is there was no follow-up in these projects. We put the money into building up the army and the security forces, which is necessary, but at the same time, what we started sort of slided and went backwards. So I think people need more help, but they have to ask for it.
All right,
I'm of the opinion, let them ask for help.
All right, Dr. Culhane, thanks for coming and sharing your wisdom. We appreciate it.
Thank you.